The Circle of Blood Druid is an awesome new mod for Baldur's Gate that allows you to be a really good spellcaster with blood and necrotic based spells, but also rage and wild shape all without multiclassing. Let me explain and let's go over it. We're going to go level by level, combat tutorial and all the items you could need. So of course we start with the Druid the Druid class, and for this we gain, if I come to the bottom, Wisdom saving throw proficiency, Intelligence saving throw proficiency, Club, Dagger, Javelin, Mace, Quarterstaff, Scimitar, Sickle, Spear, Light Armour, Medium Armour and Shield proficiencies. For your cantrips we are going to take Shillelagh and we'll take Thorn Whip. Thorn Whip's really good for pulling enemies closer to you. For your ability points we're going to have 8 Strength, 14 Dexterity, 16 Constitution to help with our health pool and concentration based spells, 10 Intelligence, 16 Wisdom and 10 Charisma. For your proficiencies, take whatever you feel like, whatever fits your roleplay essentially. And that brings us to level 2 where we get to pick our specialisation. And for this, the Circle of Blood. You're a keeper of the old ways. You remember how the ancient druids performed sacrificial rituals under a blood-red moon to appease the uncaring forces of nature. You trade blood for life in a delicate balance to bolster your allies and destroy your enemies. This will allow you to wild shape, and Blood Boon. When a nearby creature dies, you can claim the last vestiges of its vitality to regain 1 to 8 hit points. When you do, you may grant a creature a number of temporary hit points equal to its level. And of course we gain our wild shapes. Now we get to pick our spells here, and for this we are going to be taking Cure Wounds, we're taking Healing Word, Create or Destroy Water, Thunder Wave, and Ice Knife. Druid level 3 brings us a bunch of level 2 spells we can now choose from, as well as Sense Lifeblood. Sense the lifeblood flowing within nearby creatures. For the duration of the spell, we can deal damage to a creature whose current hit points are equal to or below half their maximum hit points. You do an additional 2d8 damage. This is concentration and it's a bonus action, which is really nice. We gain 1 spell at this point. I would take Heat Metal. This is just a really fun way to get enemies to drop, swords or have their armour burn up, giving them a disadvantage. A really fun spell. Druid level 4 brings our first feat, as well as a Deep Wrath wild shape. We get to pick one more cantrip, and for this one I would pick Thunderclap. And then for ability improvement, we're going to bump our Wisdom from 16 to 18. We gain 1 more spell. For this one we are going to be taking Moonbeam. You will notice that the Druid does have a lot of concentration based spells, so bear that in mind. And Druid level 5 unlocks our 3rd level spell slots. We also gain Reanimate. So, return a companion to life with 1 hit point and 3d8 temporary hit points. While it has these temporary hit points, it moves with unnatural vigour, gaining a +2 bonus to all ability checks, attack rolls and saving throws. The resurrected target takes 1 necrotic damage at the start of each of its turns, and once it loses all remaining temporary hit points or the spell ends, the creature will become exhausted. So, really nice way of doing this. If we check out Exhausted quick, just so you guys know. Disadvantage on all ability checks completed after a long rest. And Sanguine Poppet. Animate the blood you shed by casting this spell to become a sanguine poppet under your control. You may cause the poppet to self-destruct in an explosion, dealing 3 to 24 necrotic damage. This is awesome. And as part of casting this spell, you do take 3d4 damage, so bear that in mind. High risk, high reward. We get to pick 2 spells at this point, and we're going to take Cool Lightning to pair very nicely with Create or Destroy Water, and Plant Growth, because this is amazing for slowing enemies down and allowing your ranged characters to just pick them off. Druid level 6 brings our Panther and Owlbear wild shapes, and Rite of the Blood Moon. Drive yourself or an ally into a frenzy by invoking the power within their blood. While under the effects of the rite, the target gains resistance to non-magical physical damage, its senses and movement speed are enhanced, and deals increased damage with unarmed attacks. Furthermore, it may perform an extra unarmed attack using a bonus action after attacking. And what's awesome about this, you can do this, and then wild shaping your next turn, and this carries over much like the Rage and the Barbarian, if you ever did the Barbarian Rage, wild shape multiclass. For a spell here, we are going to take Sleet Storm, really good way to put out fires and block in the concentration of spellcasters, and I will point out we will be showing this off in the combat tutorial, so stay tuned for that. Druid level 7 brings a really nice amount of good spells we can take. We also gain the Circle of Scarlet, so cause a Crimson Pillar to erupt from the ground. The necrotic energy sapped from affected creatures grant you 15 temporary hit points. We do take 44 damage though for casting this, so please bear that in mind. And Dark Sacrament. Stab the target with a ritual dagger. If this dagger causes the target to be reduced to 0 hit points, you gain the choice of Unassailable, Unbreakable, or Unerring. The Dark Blessing ends if you reach 0 hit points. While you have a Dark Blessing, you take an additional 1 to 4 radiant damage whenever you take radiant damage. If we just check these blessings out, so Unassailable, basically advantage on all saving throws. We also have Unerring, which is a increase to your proficiency bonus of a +2. And then this is Unassailable here for both of them, but the other one is basically temporary hit points equal to your Charisma modifier. For a spell here, we are going to take Conjure Woodland Being. What's awesome about this is you use this one spell to do a summon, and the summon has a summon, so you get 2 for 1. Druid level 8 brings our next feat, and for this you probably guessed it, but Wisdom up to 20. For a spell here, we are going to take Summon Elemental, so we can summon another one of these. And that brings us to Druid level 9, where we unlock 5th level spell slots and Morality. Condemn an Aberration, Celestial, Elemental, Fey, or Fiend to a taste of Morality, subtracting a huge 5 to 40 hit points from its total hit points. Additionally, for the duration of the spell, all its ability scores are reduced by 3. It's a humanoid in addition to its other creature types, and it takes an additional 1 to 4 necrotic damage every time it takes damage. But once again, much like most of these spells, to cast this, you do take 5d4 damage. So a lot of these spells you'll notice you have to sacrifice your own life to cast, which I think works really well thematically. But the last thing you want to do is do one of these and then end up in a position where you just need to take a little bit of damage to get downed. We also gain Dominate Person, that is always prepared as well. For spell here, we're going to take Mass Cure Wounds, and we're going to take Insect Plague. Druid level 10 brings improved Wild Strikes, so you can make 2 additional attacks after making an unarmed strike while in wild shape. And Bloodlust. A target under the effects of Rite of the Blood Moon may sacrifice a piece of their own vitality to enhance their capability for destruction. Once on each of their turns when making a damage roll, affected creatures can take 1 to 8 slashing damage for an additional 1 to 8 bonus damage to their attack rolls. Awesome trade-off. We get to pick another cantrip, and for this we'll take Guidance. And then for a spell here, we're going to take Ice Storm. Druid level 11 unlocks our 6th level spell slots. Now, usually we'd only get one 6th level spell slot up to level 12. However, because we're using the Staff of Spell Power, we actually get a free spell slot. So we will be taking Sunbeam as our first level 6 spell. And then at level 12, when we get our next feat, we will be coming down here and taking Tavern Brawler. Now, Tavern Brawler will cross over into your Wild Shape. So, when you make an unarmed attack, use an improvised weapon or throw something, your strength modifier is added twice to the damage and attack rolls. So we're going to take this, and what's awesome about your wild shape is that you take on the stats of the creature. So for example, if you wild shape into the owlbear, you will take on the stats of the owlbear. You get to bump any of these up, and honestly it doesn't really matter, just put it into Constitution. If you're using the Hag's Hair, you could bump this up to 18 technically. And then we're going to take good old Hero's Feast here as our free level spell slot. We can do this to do a nice HP increase, wisdom saves with advantage, and we can put this on our summons as well. Okay, let's go over our equipment, and we start with the Shapeshifter's Hat. This will increase your wild shape charge by 1. This is also restored upon a long rest, and a nature +1. We take the Flesh Melter Cloak, so now we take melee damage, the attacker will take 1 to 4 acid damage. We take the Boots of Genial Striding, so we're unimpeded by difficult terrain. The Legacy of Masters, +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls with weapons. For armour, we're going to be using the Armour of Moonbasking, so you gain 22 temporary hit points after casting a wild shape, and those temporary hit points are active, reduce all incoming damage by 1. And Lunar Bestial Fortitude, you have +2 bonus to armour class. You also have advantage on saving throws against spells. This effect persists while using your Druidic wild shape. Now, if you don't want to go down the wild shape route and you just want to be a pure spellcaster, I would take a medium armour. However, I wouldn't take a big one. I wouldn't take the Armour of Agility. I would save this for a rogue or ranger with a higher dex score. I would probably take something such as just generic medium armour, like the half plate armour you can see here. For rings, we've got the Shapeshifter's Boon Ring. So while shapeshifting or disguising yourself, plus 1d4 bonus to all checks. The Strange Conduit Ring, so while concentrating on a spell, we'll do an additional 1 to 4 psychic damage with weapon attacks. And the Moondrop Pendant. If we have 50% hit points or less, we won't provoke opportunity attacks. The Staff of Spell Power, +1 bonus to spell save DC and spell attack rolls, as well as Arcane Battery to allow us to have a free spell slot. You could use Marcus Shear here if you want to as well. And the Absolute's Protector. Any kind of shield here will work as well, anything to boost your AC. Okay, as soon as you leave camp there are a few things you're going to want to do, and the first thing is summon your Woodland Being. So we'll just do this at 4th level, and we'll get this going here. And then with the Woodland Being, or your Dryad, you're going to want to summon your Fallen Lover to get the next summon going. And then back to our Druid, we are going to cast our Elemental as well. So if we find the Elemental in our spell list here, you can summon an Elemental of any kind. We'll just do Fire, because why not? We'll get them here. And now that we've got that going, the next thing we can do is our 6th level spell. So make sure you find your staff and turn on Arcane Battery for that free level, or the free 6th level spell slot we can now do. And we can do Hero's Feast. And you'll see we can target everyone and improve everyone's AC. Okay, you'll see we're in the combat where we are quite sort of middle-ish of the turn order, but that's okay. Now, our Elemental is awesome because the Elemental has a special Elemental Warp as a bonus action, meaning we can send them into the hard-to-reach places to distract the archers, and then even hit things like a multi-attack, such as that. The Dryad is awesome as well because the Dryad has the ability to potentially entangle enemies. So if we can hit this one here, almost.
Survival is all that matters.
The Woodwode can hit hard as well, so we can send them up here to be a proper little meat shield. And there you go, a huge crit with 26 damage. And we'll just sort of place them up here. And then it's our turn. Now, as I said, there are a few ways you can play this. You can be a pure spellcaster, you can be a pure wild shape, or you can be a hybrid of both, and that's really how I like playing the Circle of Blood. Now, wild shape works best in this form. If we find our Rite of the Blood Moon, this is what will drive you into a frenzy. Resistance to non-magical physical damage, movement speeds are enhanced, and it deals increased damage with unarmed attacks, and we gain a bonus action attack after doing our main attacks. So if we trigger this, we'll put it on ourselves. This also works really well if you put it on like a fighter or something. Now we're fully set up. Next thing we have to do, we have to wait for our next turn. So this is a 1-turn setup combination, but it is worth it. And again, we'll send our Elemental in here. We'll do a normal base attack this time. And you see you can do some really good damage and cause burning. Once again, the Woodwode will send them up. And there you go, more big damage, breaking concentration. And then it's our turn, and this is where we can really play into our strength. We will wild shape into the owlbear. And there you go, you see we've got our Lunar Protection, you'll see we're Hero Feasted, you'll see we also have Mark of the Shifter, and Lunar Protection, and our Rite of the Blood Moon. And as a bonus action, we can Enrage, make the enemies fearful, and now on our next turn we are ready to swing out some damage. And you can see we can tank these hits. And there you go, we finally landed a strike. Elemental's turn again, and you saw the enemy has run away from us, so we can still chase it down. Luckily the Elemental will not set fire to the vines. And we can keep trying to land that burn. Now the enemy AI does have a thing for just running away from your summons for some reason, so you will get a lot of opportunity attacks. Now hopefully our Dryad can land a strike and ensnare or entangle. We landed the strike, but there was no entanglement.
Well, so much for peace.
The Woodwode, once again, we can send to chase this enemy with another big critical hit.
Still on my feet.
And then our owlbear, you will see the damage we can now pump out with this. A huge 35. And another big crit, killing that enemy. You'll see we still have one more main action attack. We can also do Crushing Flight, we can jump. Nice big strike there. And we have the benefit of having the Rite of the Blood Moon bonus action attack we can do. So we can get 4 attacks in our wild shape form with this. As I said, we are still a spellcaster. So let's show off some of the amazing spells you can do with the Circle of Blood. And we will start with the Sanguine Puppet. Now we can do this at level 3. And we'll just animate one of these ones that are already here. And there you go. Now we can send this up to just explode on enemies shortly. And of course, we can steal Lifeblood if we want to. We've got our Circle of Scarlet as a big spell we can do, so if we do this at 4th level, you'll see the reach on it is pretty massive. So we are going to take a bit of friendly fire, but that's okay. We'll try and pop it. Yeah. And there you go, you'll see the huge amount of damage we did to the enemies here. Only 3 HP left on this one. And we can get another Sense Lifeblood going, considering we lost our concentration. So there we go. You'll see the enemy took a big old 14 damage thanks to our cloak. Now of course we've got our morality if we had a Aberration, Celestial, Elemental, Fate or Fiend. We don't unfortunately, so I can't really show this off. If we do this on this enemy here for example, you'll see you can't really target anyone. So bear in mind there is one feature we're not going to be able to show off fully here, but it is an awesome ability to have. What we can do however is our Dark Scaramouche. So if we do this, we'll do it at 5th level and we will target the Barbarian here. And there you go, and now you see we get to pick one of the skills that we want to take. If we turn the tooltip on, the proficiency bonus +2, we can go with the Constitution temporary hit points or advantage on saving throws. So let's take the temporary hit points, and now we have our ability going. And because we still have a bonus action, if we wanted to, we could do a healing word, we could do another Sense Lifeblood if we want to. We'll do this, level 2 again, and try and keep hold of our concentration. Okay, so with our Sense Lifeblood, we do increased damage to enemies under half HP. Unfortunately, they're not quite under the half HP. So, what we can do is, once again, we have Reanimate. We can do our Sanguine Poppet. So if we summon this, just like that, we have another one of these going. So you'll see they've got 18 health, and if we come back into our Sense Lifeblood when it stops lagging, for the duration of this spell, we deal damage to a creature whose hit points are equal or below half their maximum hit points. We'll deal additional 2d8 damage. So, if we just do a very simple staff attack, you'll see we did 18 damage with this staff and 3 psychic because we're concentrating on a spell when we attack. And obviously, if we did something like Shillelagh, we could buff this even further. But of course, our big ability is the Scarlet. We're going to do this at 6th level so you can really see the power output of this. We will cast this here, and there you go, 34 damage to the enemy here. So a really awesome ability to have. Obviously, your 6th level spell slots you're probably going to save things like Sunbeam and stuff like that, but I'm sure by now you've seen most of those spells. Playing around with the blood spells that you get with this is where it's really at. And like I said, we are still a spellcaster at heart, so we can come in here with our lower level spells such as a Thunder Wave and try and push the enemy into the abyss. So this is a really fun subclass that has so many good abilities. It's an awesome spellcaster, it's a great summoner, it can do the wild shape with the rage that you can stack with your items. You have so many possibilities with this build. So let me know what you think of the Circle of Blood subclass in general, let me know what you think of the build and what you would change, any new items or spells. If you haven't already, please drop the video a like, helps me tremendously, and subscribe to the channel for more. I've got more guides to Baldur's Gate, to Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers, to Dragon Age, Path of Exile, Oblivion, Expedition 33, Elden Ring, all the amazing RPGs you could ever need. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.